Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be tying a Wally Wing Adams. So the hook I've got in the vise is an RX long barbless dry fly hook, size 14. Thread is UTC 70 in grey. Now the other things we're going to need are a mallard flank feather, some superfine dry fly dubbing, and your standard Adams hackle with grizzly and brown. I'm going to cast on my thread here, snip off my rat's tail, and bring it back up to just a few millimetres behind the eye. Now to prepare the feather for Wally Wings, what we need to do is strip off the fuzzies at the back. This is quite a large feather, I'm not going to need all of that. It doesn't have to be perfectly even at the back. What we can do is pinch from the tip and draw those fibres back. Now a trick that I learned off YouTube from the feather bender is to use the nozzle from a tube of UV resin in order to hold the fibres back and even. Here there's a couple that are longer on one side than the other, so I'm going to bring those out. That'll help keep the wings nice and even. I'm going to wax my thread and using a pinch and loop technique, tie in the wings, make a couple of tight loops, and then we can take the tube off. I'm going to snip off that thick stem first, draw the excess fibres up and trim at an angle to help start build a little taper into the body. We're going to tie those down, and you can see from the top the shape of the wing. Now there's one that's just a little longer than the other, just one fibre, but I want them to be even, so I'm going to sort that out. For the tail I'm using dry fly hackle fibres. It's just your usual brown and grizzly. Makes a really nice colour combination. So a few loops around, going to make a loop underneath the tail to help hold it up, bring it back up, and then snip the excess to blend everything in. And you can see I've started to make a nice conical shaped body. Now a few wraps in front of the wing in order to prop it up. And here you want to take exactly two, not one and not three, fibres on each side to draw down. And this peels the perfect amount of stem off so that the wings are flexible but resilient and you don't have too much bulk. I'm going to do both sides here and then trim out the remaining central stem. There's a little bit of extra fuzzy there, so I'm going to take that off. Now pinch the wings back and just make a couple of loops to help prop them up and in position. Now we can trim off the excess fibres from the tip. A little bit wonky at this stage, we'll have an opportunity to sort that out later, but I like to get them where they will be. Now here I'm going to start tying in my hackle feathers. Again, grizzly and brown, really nice colour combination, very buggy. I'm going to tie those in one behind the other. Bring the stems up, tie them forward, snip off the excess so it's not crowding the eye, and just a couple more loops to tie those down. Now take the thread all the way back down to the tail base. And the dubbing I'm using is superfine dry fly dubbing in Adams Grey. Take a small pinch, dub it on. Make a nice tight noodle. Now you notice I don't wax my thread here, I like to be able to slide it up and down. Hackle fibres do get in the way a little bit, but we can work around that. I've used it ever so slightly too much dubbing here. You can see I'm just going to pinch off some of the excess, dub up what's left over, and then carry the thread back forward to the eye. Now I like to wrap my feathers one at a time. I find it's cleaner and a little bit easier than trying to do them both at once. So I'm going to start with brown, make a couple of loops of thread to hold everything down, and then using the grizzly hackle I'm going to work through. I'm going to draw the wings back and work it through the brown. Again, make a loop, and we're just going to tie everything back from the head. Now I'm going to come in with my whip finisher and do a couple of whip finishes, build up a little grey head to the fly. Snip the excess thread and take off the excess feather. Now the wings have got a little bit bent up during that procedure, but it's fairly simple to get them back in place. And there you have it.